The housing and accommodation crisis has left students from the University of Galway in a bind. Students in Galway are finding the search for appropriate accommodation more and more difficult. People are struggling with soaring rents and chasing rooms in gaps further and further away from where they work, and in Galway, the problem is particularly acute. The fact that NUI Galway has recommended people to live in Spiddal and Moycullen reflects how bad the crisis has gotten. At the minute, there are horrific stories up and down the country of students in owner-occupied accommodation not being given access to kitchen facilities, only being given access between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. in the morning, being booted out on a Friday and welcomed back on a Sunday. Most of the existing options are too expensive and not tailored towards students' needs. To further research the problem, you need to choose the fitting research methods. A questionnaire helps to collect data to a larger extent, and it can be analyzed what the main issues are. These issues can be further explored in a semi-structured interview with fewer people. A semi-structured interview gives somewhat the same structure for each interview and touches upon the same important aspects every interview, making the coding more cohesive and easier without losing the possibility of having a dynamic conversation. After research is done by two different research methods, the main issue can be concluded and the process of creating a solution can be started. The questionnaire shows most students experience issues regarding high prices and low availability. Students were also not satisfied with the university's involvement. Now that we have this information, we can make an interview setup asking our interviewees about the issues more in depth and about the university's involvement. We interviewed 5 people with a different duration of stay and with different backgrounds and genders to create an as broad as possible image of the user of accommodation in Galway.
We tried to get help from the university, but they didn't really assess me very well.
Okay.
Yes, I faced with scam in my first accommodation. That's why I left it.
Instagram's okay. It just seems crowded. Yeah, Facebook is annoying because there's just a lot of scams going around. Yeah, I tried using that website, as I said, but there was just no real options on it. And then, like, the only campus accommodation they supply is for first years, which also doesn't really apply.
Oh.
Actually, in the process to looking for accommodation, we found so many scams. First, the webpage University Living, where we found some accommodation, but the landlord or the owner didn't even reply us. Yes, actually, they gave us some help, like the StudentPad website, but there was nothing reliable or affordable there, so we didn't find it helpful.
The main problem was the lack of answer and the scams. I sent a lot of messages from the same flats, but I never got any answers most of the time. I don't know, maybe the platform don't delete an accommodation after it got rented, but it's very stressful to stay in the blur. Otherwise, I once showed up to an apartment in Galway that I was supposed to visit, but people were already living here. It was a scam. Fortunately, I never paid anything without being sure that it wasn't a scam. I lost €500 with hosting power.
Use the website, but Rentola is one that comes up quite often. I bumped into that website quite often with Rentola. And
Yes.
What I did was, if I saw a place like that, I was like, that's a really good spot on Rentola, but I couldn't message them. I'd go look up the property online and see if it came up anywhere else but Rentola. And when it didn't, it kind of raised a few red flags for me.
So did the university assist you in any way in finding accommodation?
No, I believe they couldn't give me comfortable living.
Okay,
Like
right, fair.
a comfortable lifestyle.
We applied the technique of coding to analyze the interviews and see what came forward most in the interviews. This gives us a clear overview of what is the biggest issue or most important to our interviewees when answering our questions. When coding the interviews, mostly scams and a failing university system came forward. Now that we gathered the data, different meetings have been planned to discuss the findings and what direction we were going to go in as a group regarding our solution. There are already many sites for landlords to rent out their property, as there are sites to file complaints and so on. We decided to combine the two issues of scamming and unsatisfactory university involvement. Different low-fidelity prototypes were made for websites where these issues would come together in one solution. We took the best aspects from different prototypes and created our first official prototype. We used a task-based usability testing method because this method allows people to use the prototype freely and discover what can be better or make their use easier. Therefore, we thought it was more fitting to our user and sort of prototype. Since our solution will be used by students and landlords, it was also tested among these two different people.
And your task, if you agree with that, is to try to fill the refurbishment process. And after, did you receive it?
Yes, I received it. I show you. I have all the pages for landlords.
Yes.
It's very easy. So I've done that. And as for me, the rental system is very well designed. And just in a few clicks, you will be able to rent my adverts. So I have no problem about overall. I think the system is very comprehensive and may encourage me to rent out my accommodation to students after renovating my second home. So I think I will use it. If I can.
Do you have a recommendation or advice?
Yes, if I can give you an advice, it's that maybe it would be better to separate the students and owner pages by setting different colors, just different colors.
Yeah. What can you say about the system?
I imagine you picked owners who can trust, so I'm feeling safe. I have all the information I need, and yeah, I can complete a transaction with it.
Okay, perfect. What can you tell about the global website?
Yeah, the interface is very pretty and it's simple to find out a way to complete transaction. It's better that student pad with more economic screens and a lot of new, interesting and useful functionality has the FAQ for our student blog.
Okay, yes.
And if I can give one recommendation, it would be to have written testimonies on the advert.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
It could be good.
Yes.
For our final design, we decided to listen to advices given by users during the test. Like, for example, differentiate the system for landlords, which is now in blue, and the system for students, which is now in pink. In addition, we added testimonials from students to the Accomodation adverts.
This project teaches us about researching and choosing methods appropriate to the topic or issue and the user in question. Moreover, it shows the importance of analyzing the collected data thoroughly to be able to come up with a concrete solution fitting to the user's issues.